Today, we're going to go through a little tutorial on how to do a step back lunge. We're going to talk about why this is a good exercise to master, and of course, a step-by-step progression to take you from someone who may just be in the early stages of standing all the way up to the point of how to advance this kind of what seems like a simple exercise into a very advanced exercise to really take your walking and your overall physical fitness to the next level. If you're new to this channel, I'm Tara, I'm a neurologic physical therapist, and on this channel we talk about anything and everything related to mobility, health, fitness, and mindset with the end goal of empowering you with as many tools as possible to live an overall happier, healthier life. And with all that said, today we're going to do a deep dive into a step back lunge. So step back lunge is basically you're just stepping one foot backwards into a lunge position. Now the reason this exercise or this movement is so important is first and foremost, let's talk about the functional reasons it's important. One is it's one method to go from standing to kneeling to get on the floor. So that's one benefit of learning this movement. The other one is stepping down off of a ladder. So if some of you are at that level, you might be able to get up the ladder, but you really do need to be able to step backwards and down with each leg, and it really does require you to have this control in the hip and knee muscles that we're going to go through when we go through this lunge activity. So that's why it's a good activity to practice if that's something that you want to get back to doing. The other reason is that if you're not in an area where everything is ADA standards, there might be a case where you do need to take a step down off of like a large platform, which that would be another reason why you might need to have really good hip and knee control in the leg that is lowering you down. So that's another reason why step back lunge is important. And then the other reason is it's a really great way to isolate those glute muscles. So if you're someone that's higher level and you already have good normal movement patterns, you might be someone who's now trying to isolate muscles. I usually try and stay away from isolating a muscle because most of you are working on quality movement, and that's really getting groups of muscles to work together. But if you are to that level, that's one other benefit of a step back lunge is it really does force you to isolate those glute muscles in order to get into this position. So hopefully the why behind this exercise now makes sense to you, but now the what. What do you need to do in order to master a step back lunge? Well, there's two areas that I think need to be addressed. One is, can you maintain the position once you get into it? So you don't want to take this huge step backwards and your body just doesn't know how to behave when it's in that position. So we need to work on that. In one little silo category is being able to maintain that lunge position so that you know you can confidently hold that position once you get there. And then the other component is being able to transition from standing with your feet side by side into taking a large step backwards and controlling that hip and knee and the foot that you're standing on as you take that large step backwards. So those are the two things that we're going to address. And I'll repeat it again. I really do think it's important to address both components. So let's head on over to the gym and we'll go through what the progression looks like for a step back lunge, addressing the maintaining the position or getting into the lunge position and transitioning into the lunge position. Again, in sitting, you can get into that deeper lunge position a little bit safer. And if you are someone that's standing, obviously going from standing to that step back lunge is the ultimate goal. So definitely working on the standing component of this progression is also extremely beneficial. So the first progression is we're just working on how to center our body weight over that front leg and kind of pitch the upper body forward just a little bit so that your center of gravity, your center of mass that we talk about a lot, stays positioned over that right foot because that's the leg we're trying to emphasize. Soft knee on that front leg, and then you're just going to step that foot back a little bit. Again, making sure to keep most of your weight over that front leg and then step it forward. And then you're just going to step it back a little bit further, which comes by bending that front leg a little bit more. That's how you get that back leg back further. What a lot of people do, because it gets harder as you bend this leg more, is you start to lean your body backwards to get that foot back. So again, as you step that foot back, you really want to make sure that you're getting that foot further back because you're bending your front leg and not because you're just leaning your body backwards. So a little bit back, and you're going to go a little further back. Now, some people do show this with a furniture slider under the foot. I really don't recommend that. I think you'll be hesitant to move that foot back, because the further it gets back, if it's slippery, that foot's just going to slide out from under you if you don't have good control in that front leg yet. So if you're in the early stages, I do recommend on just doing an actual step and not using any type of a furniture slider. If in the case where we're trying to get into that step back lunge position and eventually down to kneeling. So again, you're just going to step it back a little bit further. See, I'm centering my body weight over the front leg. That's isolating those glutes and really getting the glutes to figure out how to work in coordination with the knee muscles and the ankle muscles. So it's not here, but it's kind of keeping that body over that front leg and back up, and then a little bit further and back up. Now for this first progression, we're not going to go all the way down to the knee, but remember that is part of this step back lunge, is that eventually you'll be able to step back and lower down and then come back up and step forward. We're not going to do that yet because I want you to see the sitting variation first. But right now we're just trying to get comfortable positioning that front leg, positioning that body over that front leg, and stepping that back leg back. Okay, so that's the first progression, or the first set of activities to work on in a progressive manner. So now we're going to also work this progression in sitting. So the benefit of doing this in standing and doing this in sitting is with the standing portion of it, you can work kind of the upper components of it. And then with the sitting component of this, not only are you learning how to maintain this lunge position in a little bit of an easier method of getting into it, but you're also learning the lower section. So instead of going straight from standing to a lunge or to kneeling, this is kind of allowing you to get into that position or work the lower half of it separate from the upper half, and then you can kind of put it all together. So for this one, you're basically just going to step your leg out to the side. This is the working leg here. You can already position your body kind of over that leg in a much safer manner, and then you're just going to pivot. Now you can start just stay sitting. You're kind of practicing, just making sure you have the range of motion, you know what it feels like to kind of position your body over that front leg, and just stay sitting until you feel comfortable, and then try and lift your bottom up. And then if you feel comfortable with that, you can try lifting your hand. So see, even if you're advanced, you could still do the sitting component of this to get into this low position. And this is pretty challenging. This isn't easy to hold. My body, most of my body is over my front leg, so my front leg is doing most of the work. And then you're just going to sit back down. So that's how you practice getting into that step back lunge position. And now we're going to kind of work it in reverse a little bit, and then we'll put it all together. But you're going to step that leg out, pivot, hold that position. You can stay with your arms supported on something. Now, if this is your working leg and you have hemiparesis or hemiplegia and you don't have an arm that can support you on this side, you can bring something else in front of you to hold on to in the early stages. But see, you can still be in that lunge position, position your body over that leg, and then come up into that position and back down. So that's if you have hemiparesis and you can't use this arm, but you want to work your weaker leg. So just bring something over to get into that position. You're basically just working on getting into that low lunge position, having the mat over here for safety or the chair over here for safety, and then you can just sit back down. Now again, I do recommend you use a chair without armrests. It does make it easier to get in and out of this position if you don't have a chair with armrests on it. And then once you feel like you can get in that position and you can hold it, what you want to do next is work on stepping forward. So we're kind of working it in reverse. If you get into a lunge position, can you get out of it? That's super important. So again, let me show that to you again. We're going to start sitting, step that leg out, pivot to get into that step back lunge position, push down with that front leg, and step that foot together, and then just sit down. So we're working the lower half, making sure that if you can get into that position that you can get out of it. Step that leg out, pivot, and step up. And now the next step, which you want to work on before we put it all together, is working on stepping backwards off of a step. So if this is the working leg, again, the reason you want to use a step and do this exercise, some of you might skip this one, is because when you're stepping off of something, you really have to learn how to kind of pitch your body weight forward, or else you'll fall backwards off the step. So it was like doing like a step down as well, so you can learn how to pitch your body forward. So start with a small step and step down and then back up. Again, this is working to make sure you can get down into that position and back up without actually getting all the way down into that position, and you can do it progressively. So just keep working on a higher and higher step, and then step down and back up. Now, if you have a staircase, I would recommend using that first because it gives you a nice sturdy railing to hold on to. And if you were doing it on a staircase, start with the bottom step, and then you can actually go 2 steps up, step this foot down to the first step first, get your balance, make sure you can control your movement, and then step it down to the floor or the ground, and then you can step it back up. And now we can put it all together. So I always recommend that you start with a chair or something next to you for stability. Pitch your body weight forward, get it over that front foot. Start by putting your hand down on something. You're going to step that foot back. So now you're in that lunge position, and then you have this pad down here to go down and tap and back up. And then you can step it forward and stand up. So again, get that front knee back, get your body pitched over that front leg a little bit, step that foot back. Remember, this is your working leg, so this is the leg that has all the weight on it. Tap that knee, come back up, and then step it forward and back up. You can go to something a little bit less sturdy, but something that'll still give you some support. Step that foot back, tap, and back up. Step that foot back, tap, and back up. And step that foot back, tap, and back up. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you liked that tutorial and you like this type of information, definitely check out our membership program, which gives you access to over 300 exercises in really short videos that are 2 to 3 minutes long. They're organized so that you can filter through the videos to get to the ones for a specific muscle or a specific movement that you want to relearn. In addition to that, you'll also have access to our monthly lives where you submit questions in advance and I answer your specific questions. And then the new perk to the membership program is we now have a Discord channel only for Gold members and monthly live members. So that's just a platform where we can all just interact throughout the week and throughout the month and really support each other, ask questions, share information, just an opportunity to build a little bit more of a community. So I highly recommend that you check out our membership program and join us so that you can have access to all of those perks. Another way that you can keep in touch with us throughout the week that's free is to head on over to Instagram where I post 1 to 2 videos a week just to kind of help keep your home exercise program fresh and up to date. And then one other way that you can support this channel is go down to the description and check out some of the links in the description below. If you're new to this channel and you haven't yet subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Turn on that notification bell so that you'll get notified every time I upload new videos. I enjoyed spending time with you all today, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Have a good day.